Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga Texas Construction update video.
Well, welcome back to Giga Texas. It's Monday the 28th of November 2022. And it's been a few days since I've actually done a video for a flyover of Giga Texas. So a lot has changed. Before I get into a few of the things I want to talk about on the site today, I just want to let you know that I've released two videos in between my previous video and today. We had deep dives about some interesting topics that I think you'll find very interesting. Now, these are too much for me to go into on a normal video like today, which is why I made a standalone video. So this one here talks about the overall site, do a grand tour, show you what's going on, talk about three major new construction projects on the way, and a bunch of other information. Also, this video here gives you information about the grid lines and the mapping format inside Giga Texas and how all that works. And also the 4 floors and the approximate layout for each of those as well, with a few practical examples showing you how the grid coordinates work and what some of the activity inside the factory appears like. So make sure you check both of those videos out. For today, a couple of areas I want to highlight. First, as you can see here on the west side main entrance, the stairs, as we suspected, are being removed. We saw them being solid cut last time and the concrete around the stairs being removed, but now it appears the entire stairs are about to be demolished, which means we're going to get a completely new treatment for the main entrance. The next area I want to show you, as you can see right here, is down on the south end. That concrete removal of that slab that was formerly the new vehicle staging and transportation lot is almost completely gone. There's just a very small section left that they're working on, and these images give you a good view of that. The last area I want to highlight today is up by the battery cathode plant, specifically on that west side, where they're preparing that foundation and the new structure that we talked in depth on my grand tour video that I mentioned previously. Now, what they're doing today is it looks like they're trying to install the soil test sampling devices in a different location, while they're also installing some pipe into that large pit that's between the drilling site for the soil test samplings and the battery cathode plant. So as you can see, there's a lot of changes going on here. We get a chance to see quite a bit around the site today. I'm flying a little bit later than normal, so I get a little bit different sun angle, so I hope you appreciate that as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great week.
My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga Texas. We'll start off on the west side of the highway here at this material staging location. And what you can see right in front of you is that they've marked off parking spots along the midsection of this cleared out area. I believe this is going to be used for trailers, possibly to help expand the warehouse on wheels so that more work can be done on the east side. You can also see just how much of the materials are still waiting here for use around the site. And there's quite a bit on the middle is some trailers. These may be where they will be moved to that south, where that parking location that we just talked about is. You can also see more of the trailers up here at the north end, and quite a bit of other materials. And as you can see, it's pretty active, including a workshop of some sort right here underneath the drone as we proceed back towards the main building. So let's get ready to go across the highway, and we'll take a look at what's going on with the main entrance today. So here it looks like the work on removing the concrete has continued, almost completed, but what I really want to show you is this, the complete removal of all of these stairs. And this indicates that we're going to see something completely different in this entire section. So a new stair, a new entrance, a new design with the concrete. You can see the edge here where they still have to cut out the shape, and it will be mirroring what you see on the left-hand side of the screen. But continued work on cutting out the concrete, and it looks like more work is going to be continuing around near where this black fence is, because you can see more of the concrete has been saw cut as well. Sorry about the sun angle there. I'm flying a little bit later this morning, so the sun's at a slightly different location. But this is a good view of what is going on here at the main entrance today, and how the stairs are about 50% removed already. I wanted to show you the work that's going on to fill out the spaces underneath the bottom part of the A of Tesla. You can see the crews here are finishing this last section, and this is between the two bottom parts of the A. And I'll bring the drone around and give you a better look heading towards the north to see what the overall solar panel installation looks like today. It looks like to me the next section that they will be working on is that last remaining bottom section between the A and the L of Tesla. But as we continue to pull back, you can see the south end, the concrete removal, and just how little of that concrete remains. And pretty soon all of that will be gone, and then we will see what kind of construction is underway. As you can also tell on the bottom of the screen, there's a lot of materials that continue to be stockpiled here, and also on the east side. Believe that this may be related to that construction effort that will be underway once all of that concrete is removed. So let's come back down a little bit closer, and I'll give you a good view of what's going on at that concrete demolition location. As we go across the cyber pond, which you can see is kind of brown from all the recent rains, you can also see that they have quite a bit of these concrete tubes or pipes, and this will most likely be some water treatment or water management system underneath whatever they're going to be constructing. You can also see on the last remaining section of concrete quite a few of those concrete sections stacked up, and there will be yard trucks that come by here periodically. They'll be loaded up, and then they relocate these to at least 4 different locations around the site, and I'll show you a few of those a little bit later in the video. But as we continue to proceed towards the east, you can just see a really good view of how this area looks without any of the concrete. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of construction they have in mind. Now, as we approach the southeast corner of the stamping machine structure, you can see this large truck with the accordion trailer is being repositioned over near where the AIDA stamping press components are, and we'll see that it's being backed up to unload in this area. All of the blue-topped crates that you see on this side of the building are parts of that AIDA stamping press. Also some of the crates with the white, some of these with the green, and also all of these very large components that are covered with the blue and green tarps. As I mentioned, that truck is being backed up. It has an accordion trailer, and then they will be unloading some components a little bit later. But this is a really good view of how many of these parts are waiting for installation in that south stamping extension section that we've been watching construction inside, especially with the isolation foundation that's being built under the ground to support this large machine. So let's pop up over the power lines. I want to give you a good view of this parking lot, also some of the materials that are staged around the vehicles, and what this clearing location looks like as more and more dirt continues to be brought over here and smoothed out. I'm still not sure exactly what this location is for, but it's something I will continue to monitor. So let's push the drone back over towards the west, facing to the building, and see what this side of the structure looks like today. One of the things that continues to be worked on is these 3 sections that have had the concrete removed. You can see some of the excavators working on this one closest to the drone. preparing for some more plumbing. But all three of these are where they added in the receiving doors. And once they finish whatever plumbing work they're doing, I expect to see the concrete reapplied here to reestablish the aprons so that the receiving doors can be opened and used. So let's take a look here on the top of the body in white roof, where they're continuing to do this installation of the HVAC ducting. Also around this work site, you can see the grates that I believe will be used to finish up most of the open section. This will allow it to continue to have access or open air access to the sky, but also provide some sort of protection for the machinery and equipment that's just underneath. And here you can see some of the workers. They are preparing parts of the border around the open section of the roof for continued assembly of all of the grates and the other components. So let's proceed back over the power lines, and I want to show you the work that's going on here at this east small parking lot. Closest to us is where they are installing what I believe to be more supercharger stations. With all of the dirt, you can see the effects of all of the heavy rain. On the right-hand side, or what's coming underneath the bottom of the drone right now, is where they are setting up a new vehicle testing location. And you can see near the helicopter pad, more of the Model Ys are being parked here. It looks like they're trying to get it away from that construction site, and also where all of the dirt has kind of washed over this part of the parking lot from all of the rains. But this is a good view of those two supercharger stations that are being constructed, and also that east secondary entrance and some of the work on the dirt in front of those receiving doors. I'll drop the drone down a little bit so you can get a good view of this new vehicle staging and transportation lot. Quite a few Model Ys on both the west and the east sides. Looks like 3 trucks at this moment in time getting ready to pick up more Model Ys. But I would estimate that these trucks are arriving and departing on the site certainly once every 5 minutes or so, loaded up with about 6 to 8 of the Model Ys per truck, and it's just constantly happening all throughout the day, certainly by the time that I am there flying. So as we continue further to the east, and then I'll move a little bit southeast, this is the warehouse on wheels as it appears today. Quite a few of the trailers are stockpiled here, and as I mentioned, across the highway, I think that they are setting that cleared out location possibly for more of these trailers. At the bottom of the screen, you can see one of those yard trucks taking some of those sections of concrete from the south end, and they're bringing them over to this part of the construction site. And here you can see one of the areas that they are stockpiling all of those cut out sections. Quite a few of them are located right here at the bottom of the screen, and also where some of the workshops, material staging, and storage is located as well. I'm going to continue to move the drone a little bit farther to the north along this east side, and what you'll see coming in from the right towards the center is another section where they are storing all of these concrete sections that are being cut out from that south side. And there will be one more, and I'll show you that a little bit later. But I also want to give you a good view of all of these trailers. These are where the contractors have their offices. The contractors that are responsible for building all of the various projects here at Giga Texas. And one of the interesting things is near this hill, this is where I call the Model Y graveyard. It's actually where quite a bit of production components, maybe for testing or rejects or just other kinds of purposes, but you can see quite a bit of the Model Y bodies here have been stockpiled for recycling, and then the bins has got a lot of other parts as well. Sometimes we see structural packs over here for recycling as well. As we continue up towards the north, we'll get a good view of the battery cathode plant, and we'll take a tour around this site. I'll begin by flying to the north on the east side of the building. You can see that many of the open sections have now been filled with wall panels. Just a few more are remaining. I think that's to allow for equipment to be installed. And in fact, if you look on the left-hand side, inside that open section, you can see a large crate has been moved inside. So I expect to see more of that going on over the next few weeks. The temporary platform looks like it is nearly completed and ready for operation. And then the two openings, one at the bottom and one at the top, you can see not only more equipment and materials being brought inside, but it also looks like some offices or some other internal rooms have been created with these large doors just off in the inside of that platform. This is a good view of more of the materials and other equipment that's on the east side. The Evapco HVAC large components, the steel ones next to the building, are waiting for movement and installation, I believe, on the west side. This steel control room continues to have some progress. That interior room looks like there are some workers doing some sort of work inside that standalone room. You can also see some plumbing work that's been going on here. Here's an active section. This is continuing the installation of this water pipe that we saw previously. And this is just after it took a 90-degree bend back towards the west. This is a good view just quickly inside this section of the building so you can get a flavor for how this looks. There's also some HVAC ducting that has been installed inside. Those are those round silver pipes, and that will allow for heating and cooling for the employees. Now I'm going to pull back towards the north and east to give you a really good view of this north clearing section and also where all of the materials are being stockpiled. You can see that there is some earthwork continuing near that small hill by the trees on the left-hand side of the screen. You can also see that very bright green section, which has been seeded after filling in some of the ponds and removing some of the hills. As we continue further, you can see where all of these concrete sections from the south end have been brought as well. So this is the third major area where they are stockpiling that. All of these equipment here is for equipment rental, and you can see that Quonset hut on the left-hand side. I believe that's their maintenance facility. And I'll bring the drone in just a little bit lower so you can see what all of these concrete sections look like. And that truck, I don't know if that's being used to bring them up here or if maybe they're preparing to start taking some off-site. But nevertheless, as you can see, there's three very large sections that are containing all of those concrete. So let's proceed back towards the battery cathode plant and continue the tour on the west side. So as we approach to the west side corner, you can see the concrete vaults on the bottom of the screen, this large white and now expanded section of roofing for some of this equipment that's being stored, trying to keep it out of the weather. And there's another interior room taking shape on the north end of the structure, as you can see. I'll continue to pull the drone back, trying to take advantage of the sun since it's at a slightly different angle today. But this movement back towards the southwest gives you a really good view of how the west side is continuing to progress. And here is the foundation section that is getting a lot of work. There's been geopiers, they're doing soil testing, trenching, and some pipe installation. This will support a new 107 square foot single story building, as we discussed in my previous videos. I'm going to pull back here so you can see what some of this material storage looks like on this side. Also, I've had a lot of viewers ask what they were doing with the concrete slab sections here. It looked like they were making a foundation. What it looks like is they're not only storing some of those slabs that have been cut out, but you can see these very large rebar cages. These are normally used for footings. So I think the crews are doing preparation work now and building all of these steel cages for footings for this structure that's being constructed here next to the battery cathode plant. So it's something I'll continue to monitor. But I wanted to get a little bit closer in so you could see the work that's going on inside the trench and the kinds of pipes that are being installed, at least at the bottom part of this trench. Also, you can see the crews preparing this soil testing rig. It looks like they're installing it in a different location. The yellow feet are on top of shoring, and then the bright orange bar is calibrated. They have these bores into the ground with concrete. They put these steel bars to that, and then they compress it down so that they can test the deformation of the soil. That will also help them figure out what they need to do to strengthen the soil before construction. There's a good view of the work going on inside the trench and some of the geopier equipment idle over on the boundary. Here, crews are working more on these pipe manifolds. They've been working on these for quite some time. I believe they will be suspended underneath this steel structure. And this steel structure will most likely have those Evapco components on the east side moved over and put where those square or rectangular openings are. But that's something I'm going to continue to monitor to make sure that that is in fact what is going to happen. This is a really good view as I climb the drone up to see how the entire west side construction site appears today and all the work that is going on. And I want to give you a good view of the new lined pond. And as you can see, there's a lot more water in it now. I believe that this is predominantly caused by all of the rains that we've had. It's probably about, I don't know, 50% full right now. But it looks like they may be putting some more water or of the contaminated water from the Martin Marietta plant as well. As we move over to the electrical switch yard, you can see all of the steel corrugated pipes and the concrete pipes waiting for further installation. And you can see that work has resumed here at the main construction site. The first thing you notice is that the slabs here for the transformers, one of them has had the concrete poured with the plastic, the other one's waiting for concrete after they clear out all the water. And you can see some of the bus bars are being installed onto these steel components just to the north of those slabs. The control room off to the right continues to have some work on the inside, and the steel A-frames here are still waiting for 3 more to be installed. Now, I've had one of my viewers ask why are the A-frames on the right-hand side larger of steel than the ones on the left-hand side. I think that's because the ones on the right-hand side are going to have the high-tension wires connected up to the existing wires. And I think because of the long distance, they will have a lot more stress on them, so they needed a stronger set of A-frames on this side of the electrical switch yard. But this is a good view of how this appears today. I'll get a little bit closer so you can see how all of the steel assembly, the circuit breaker installation is going on, those 4 of eventually 7 A-frame towers, and how the transformer slabs appear today. So let's proceed back over to the main building and see what's going on at the north end. Okay, we're going to do a kind of a 180-degree turn over the east side of the casting machine structure. You can see that quite a few of the castings actually have been used up, and they are continuing to make more and stockpiling them here on the ground floor, but there are a lot less than we've seen in the past. I think this may be caused by increasing production rates, so the speed of making castings is starting to be eaten into by the speed of producing vehicles, which is another great sign. As I come around the corner, you can see some test Model Y bodies here. I think that these may be used to test some of the painting process. And just looking at them briefly, I think all of them have floors in them, which means that they are 2170 variants and they do not have a front casting. So right now it seems like that is the priority here at Giga Texas, to make 2170 variants of the Model Ys. As we'll do a quick pass along the north side here, some of the materials that are being prepared for moving inside the building. One thing is evident, that there's quite a few less of them here, so more and more are going inside. We also see this very interesting delivery. I believe these are wrapped robots, robotic assemblers, and they put them in these kind of silver wrapping to protect them as they arrive. But that looks like there may be about 6 or 8 more robotic machines being delivered to the north end of the paint shop today. I'm going to pull back just to give you a good view of this construction work along the center median between the parking space and the road. And you can see how the curbs, the sidewalk, and also some of the plumbing is continuing to take shape on this end of the building. I'm going to also give you one view of some of the work that is actually taking place on this northwest corner, where the ventilation ducts and the cooling enclosures are being installed. It seems like where the workers are right now, a long kind of a HVAC duct has been installed, and that is a new development. What it does exactly, I'm not sure, but it is good to see some work going on this side of the roof. In the background, you can see that west material staging location and that clearing location that we talked about previously. And then I'm going to give you a good long pullback just to reveal the entire factory from the east side. So there you have it, a tour of Giga Texas today with a lot of activity on this Monday, the 28th of November. As always, thank you very much for watching. I very much appreciate your support, and I hope you have a great day.